Namaste, Hari Om. Start. Om Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Viknopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhar Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay, so in the last session we had seen a few names. We'll continue. So today's name I think is the 70th name. Prajapati has to be the 70th name of the Vishnu Sahasranama. Last was Shreshtaha, we had seen in the last session. Today we'll start with Prajapati. Prajapati definition. Ishwaratvena sarvasam prajanam patihi. Now here you must note one thing. Why it is not sarvesham, why it is sarvasam? Those who know a little bit of Sanskrit, you will have this doubt because we are used to saying sarvesham bhakta mahajananam. You would have heard this commonly, right? So sarvesham is something where we are used to sarvasam. What is the significance of this? Now this word sarva is a pronoun, sarva pronoun. And it has got various forms. So depending on the context, at times it becomes sarvasam, at times it is sarvesham. Mostly it is sarvesham, but depending on the context, sometimes it might become sarvasam. So in this context, it is sarvasam. So being Ishvara, one who is the Lord, or Prajapati itself means that one who is the leader of all living beings, all living creatures, that is Prajapati. Now here we have the story from the Ramanujacharya's tradition, when we have of the Alvars, Nammalvar story. Now those are familiar a bit with Sangam literature, Tamil literature. We have concept of Alvars and Nayanmars. So on this, the most famous Alvar is Nammalvar. So a place in Tamil Nadu, it's called as Tirukuruhur. It's also called the Alvar Nagari, famous because Nammalvar was born in this place. And he was also born in a very auspicious month. This, I think you call it as the Tamil month of Vaikashi. We also celebrate the Vaikashi Vishakam, right? So during that festival that we celebrate in Tamil Nadu, during that time Nammalvar was born, a very auspicious day. Now what was the speciality of Nammalvar's birth is that usually whenever a child is born, not only a child, a living creature is born, let us consider human beings, the child will always cry. If the child does not cry, that means there is something that is abnormal, right? So whenever a child is born, the child has to cry. Without that, if the child doesn't cry, that means there is some problem, and then they will maybe keep in the incubator, this, that and everything, right? So in the case of Nammalvar, it so happened that he did not cry at all. And here, as per different philosophy, it is said that whenever a small child cries, it always cries as kwa kwa. That's, if you listen very carefully, small children crying, if you listen to the sound that they make, they always cry as kwa kwa. Why is it kwa kwa? From the nasal the sound comes. The reason is, it is actually saying kwa kwa. Kwa kwa in Sanskrit is who am I, where have I come? So that is what it feels. So why it is so is that a philosophy that goes behind it is that whenever a child comes out of the mother's womb, it is said that a vayu is oxygen. That is called as Shatama. Shatama Vayu comes and holds this child, saying that now you have come out of the womb, now you are welcome to this world. That's how it is. The Shatama Vayu is somewhat related to oxygen. Now inside the mother's womb also, the child gets oxygen, but through its mother, not directly. So the Shatama Vayu is said to be, now you have been caught in this material life, earth, problems and so on. So that is what it signifies. So why the child cries, or if you look that whenever a person is born, the person cries and all the people around, they always rejoice, right? Whenever a child is born at our houses, though the child cries when it is born, all the people around are very happy, okay, that a new child is born in my family and so on. But same when the person dies happily, that is, a person does not know anything, but all the people around sit and cry. So this is, you can say, opposites. Now why does a child cry when it is born? It is said that inside the mother's womb, it is believed that all of us, including you and me, the Lord shows us, it seems, all the as like a mirror, he shows us all the previous births, what we were in the previous births, what have we gone through. Maybe we were an animal, maybe we were some creature, or maybe we were a human being also previously. So the child knows where it was, and at that time the child inside the mother's womb feels that, oh, I've taken so many births, I've put in so much of efforts, I faced so much problems. Finally now I'm getting this human birth, let me not waste this away, let me use it positively, let me use it in a good way, so that I don't have to be reborn again. So this is what is a motive that the child inside the stomach has, and only with this motive in its mind it is born. But at the end of 9 months, when the child actually comes out, it forgets all this. That is because the Shatama Vayu gets hold of the child and says that now you are born in this world, you have to live as a human being. Day 1 onwards, you have different problems that start in. Maybe till the age of 2 or 3, you don't realize that. But after that, till that time you die, some other thing is going to come, this, that. Few moments you will be happy, few moments are going to be sad, few problems are going to be there, few things you will also enjoy. So it is going to be a mixture of both. So you have to face all this. So why does a child cry? Is because inside the mother's womb it makes a sankalpa that this human birth I am going to use it very, very nicely. And the moment it comes out, it forgets everything, and that is where ajnana, nothing but ignorance, is what the child knows. That is the reason a child cries when it is born. And the same thing, when a person dies, that person does not know anything. Now no one here has experienced death, right? Now if someone asks what is death experience, we don't know. The one thing we can say is the breath stops, person dies. It is said that when a person dies, as if someone is hitting us with shulas. Now whenever a child is born, it takes 9 months for a child to develop, right? For a human being to be born. Whereas death happens in 1 minute. But it is said that the process of death also, we feel it is 1 minute. But it says that even that 1 minute is so painful for the person that it takes, as if 9 months are very less to say, even that 1 second of death. Now today we hear so many cases of heart attack, right? We feel that, oh, 30 seconds he got a heart attack. He was just sitting, suddenly he died, we say. It is said that inside the person's body, it is not magic that in 30 seconds the heart bursts open. It's not like that. It is said that the person in that 30 seconds feels the pain to this level that as if someone is hitting him and trying to pull out everything from his body. Death is a very, very painful experience, it seems. But once that takes place, a person is happy, he does not know anything beyond it all. So that is also a process. Though we say 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, suddenly he died. Though we make such terms, inside the person's body, already all the organs have started reducing themselves. Just as 9 months it takes for an organ to build up, similarly, even for death also, though we don't come to know that, slowly the person's death process also starts. But it doesn't take that much time. In 1 second, as if the pain of months and years together someone is hitting you, that can be felt even for a few seconds. Therefore, death is said to be a very painful experience. Of course, here now we don't know what is death. So all of us, we have experienced earlier, we are going to experience one day. But if someone says what will happen exactly, we never know. So now coming to the main topic, this Kwa, and Shatarupa, these are all philosophical terms that have been mentioned here. And this Nammalvar, when he was born, it is said that he did not cry at all. So then people, all his parents and everyone, they were wondering, oh, this child is not crying, what should be done? Maybe something a bit abnormal also. And so what they did is, in a nearby temple, they went, the same temple of Tirukurugu, they went and they kept the child, saying this child is not normal. So, and now in those times, and even in today's times also, today if a child does not cry also, we'll go and we'll consult the doctor. But in those times it was like, oh, some big obstacle has come in, my child is not normal at all, let's not accept this child, just keep the child away. That's where the Alvar was kept, and he heard many names because of that. The child, as when he was a small baby, he lived inside the temple. Slowly as he grew up, he came out of the temple, and it is said that once he came out of the temple, under a tree, he sat and he did a lot of meditation and so on. And this tree you can still find in that Tirukuruhu temple, wherein it is said that Nammalvar has sat and done a lot of meditation. He just went and sat there to study, to gain some knowledge and so on. At that time, a person came and approached him called Madhurakavi. Madhurakavi Alvar, we say. He was his guru. He was Nammalvar's guru. He came there. He taught the 4 Prabandhams. 4 Prabandhams are nothing but today we regard them as the 4 Vedas. 4 Vedas in Tamil. In Tamil literature, Sangam literature, also we have 4 Vedas that were taught to Nammalvar by this Madhurakavi. Like this, many texts were being taught, and that's how Nammalvar has different compositions, all the 4 Prabandhams and so on. People who are well versed with Tamil literature, you know. So this Nammalvar, he became a very great person because of that. This was how his birth had taken place. Now because his birth had taken place and he had controlled this crying, that is, he did not cry at all, and he had controlled the Shatama Vayu, he got a few names like Shatakopana. Shatakopana, one who has controlled the Shatama Vayu, or Shatajit, one who has won over the Shatama Vayu, Shatai, Shatajit, Shatakopana, like these different names Nammalvar got. Now it is said that whenever he was doing meditation under the tree, he used to not consume food and water at all. Just like Dhruva. If you read Dhruva Charitam as per Srimad Bhagavatam, Vishnu Puranam or any text, now Dhruva Charitam is mentioned in almost all the Puranas. We have seen a few. In that it is mentioned that Dhruva, when he did that, just a 5-year-old boy, when he did tapas, initially he used to wake up after 1 week or so. He used to leave his tapas. Then maybe consume fruits, roots, water. Like that. Then next it became 12 days. Once in 12 days he used to wake up, only on water he used to live. Next once in a month or so he used to wake up, and then air. Only on air he used to live. Then on one toe he started doing tapas and so on. So if you see in the course of time, 2 months, 3 months, like this how he used to break his tapas, take a break, and that too whenever he used to take a break, initially he used to consume some fruits or so. Then it came to water, then it came to air, then it came to nothing, that way. So this was the amount of tapas, ghora tapas as we say, that Dhruva is said to have done. So like this, even this Nammalvar also, his amount, the efforts that he put into tapas, that was where he considered the Lord himself to be his food and water. Lord Krishna only was considered to be his food and water. He did not consume food and water at all. So the significance is that he spent his whole time in just remembering the Lord alone, and that's where he did not remember that he has to consume food and water. That was the amount of tapas or meditation that we have. So I'll give you a very simple example for this. Now these things sometimes they are not relatable. Like we might make a conclusion and go that what you're saying all this nonsense. How can I sit, even if he is a normal human being, how much ever you do great tapas, this and that, everyone is going to feel hungry, everyone is going to feel thirsty. Nobody can sit and say that no, I'm just remembering the Lord, I don't feel anything. A simple example I'll give you. Many times when we are busy in some work, you have some important work to do or something, we forget to eat, right? Or we forget to drink water. Or maybe anything, we forget to do our normal activities and so on. And then if someone asks, we say, no, I was so engrossed, I was so busy in work, I had so many things to do, I forgot, right? At that time, we don't come and we question. Or many times whenever maybe some good thing happens, or when we are too busy also, we forget to eat. And then we say, no, it just left over, I was so busy, so I did not even remember, right? So this doesn't mean that we are abnormal, right? Or it doesn't mean that I'll never feel hungry or I'll never feel thirsty, or if I don't eat that day I'm going to die, or this is something out of the world. It's not like that. But the thing is, when we get too engrossed in something, we don't remember things at all. So in the case of Nammalva, Dhruva and so on, all the great rishis and great people who are there, they were so much engrossed in tapasya, so much engrossed in penance, that they could not remember anything that was there all around. Even goddess Parvati, if you check in the Kumara Sambhavam written by Kalidasa, wherein it talks about the marriage of Lord Shiva and Parvati and ultimately the birth of Kartikeya or Kumara. That's how the drama has got its name, Kumara Sambhavam. In that the goddess has got a reference to a name called Aparna. Even today we call out to goddess Durga as Aparna. That is one who just had, Paranam is leaves. Aparna is one who did not even have leaves all over her body. This doesn't mean that she was naked, but Aparna meaning in Kailasa, if you look at the climatic conditions there, we have to wear maybe 3 or 4 clothes, one on top of the other. In the case of Parvati, her tapasya, it doesn't mean that she was naked also or she did not have clothes over her body. The meaning is that she was so engrossed in tapasya that even if the clothes over her body fell off, even that also she could not realize. Just over leaves, that was her ghora tapasya. Just she had covered her body with leaves. And even when the leaves also, now in Kailasa you can see the climatic conditions, winds and snow, this and that. In spite of all that, that did not affect her at all. So that is the significance of this name Aparna. But here also when we say that when this Shatamavayu came and Nammalvar did a lot of tapasya, and when we say that all these people don't consume food, water, or in the case of Aparna, that is not even having a leaf over one's body, we must always look at the context. Now, aparna, one who has no leaf, does it mean that she is naked? If you take this meaning and go about, you have interpreted it in a wrong way. So the right interpretation is very, very important. So why I'm telling this is, if we don't interpret things in the right way, that is where problems arise. And then there is confusion, saying that, oh, all nonsense has been spoken about, we cannot believe in anything, right? So it is not so. The right way of interpretation is very, very important. Just by reading word to word translation, if you do and go about, then it is like useless, or we take out the wrong meaning out of it. Bhuvneshwari ji, you want to say something?
I just, somebody told me that Aparna is that she was not taking even leaves for this.
Yes, correct. That is also one thing. It can be in the way of wearing clothes, or it can be even consuming not even leaves. That can also be one thing. Or even in this case, now if you see, again it comes to food, saying that not even one leaf also she had eaten. Right? So this was the amount of Ghora Tapasya that they did. So it is nothing out of the world also. For us, it seems out of the world because we are never used to meditation, penance and so on. For us, even doing pranayama, doing yoga for 5 minutes, in that is the only time where 10,000 thoughts come to our mind. Right? Now those, many of you might be practicing yoga, meditation, dhyanam, this and that. You have the yoga instructors telling you, okay, close your eyes, close your ears, feel the senses, feel the breath. All that is fine, but then most of the times what happens is that we cannot feel anything. We just sit our eyes, especially small children also, if you see. Or maybe in initial classes, whenever you join a new yoga class or some meditation class like this, initial classes you cannot feel any difference. Right? Maybe later with practice it will come. And that is where we just sit to close our eyes. He says, no thought should come to our mind, do not think about anything. Humanly it is impossible, and you will see for yourself that only when we close our eyes, that is the only time where maximum number of thoughts come in, because we don't have anything to do at that time. Whereas now when you are busy, say for example, even now when I am talking to you, still thoughts, some of the other thoughts are running at the back of my mind, but still it will be 50%, because 50% my concentration is here. In your case it might be more, because you don't have to talk, you just have to listen. So maybe 30-40% your focus is here. Remaining 50-60 or at the back of your mind, you have some other thoughts running. So no one can say that I don't have thoughts at all. So when people say that 100%, how can we concentrate then? So 100% when we don't do anything, you're just closing your eyes and sitting, and then the person says that no thought should come to your mind. Humanly it is impossible, because at that time you're not doing anything, just closing your eyes. That is the only time when most thoughts come to our mind. We keep thinking about things. Our mind cannot be still, some of the other thoughts coming. But then to set a control over that. So for us doing penance, or when Nammalvar says that for him Lord Krishna was only food and water, he did not consume any food or water, for us it seems to be impossible because we are not used to doing such things. But that doesn't mean that doing tapasya or people have not practiced this at all. Nammalvar is not the only person who has done this. We have many people. Whoever has done penance, meditation and so on. Why I gave you such a long explanation is that we must not jump to conclusions just by listening to a few. Oh, how can he do something without food and water? He will die. You and me will die. They will not die, because they are used to that. We are not used to that. We are used to consuming only food and water. So therefore, our way of life is like that. Their way of life is not like that. Or today we have something called, I'll give you today's example only, something called intermittent fasting. Has anyone heard this? Intermittent, what is that called? Intermittent, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What is that? You have 8 or 9 hours gap, right? Or only you must eat only once a day, something like that. Many of us, you go to a dietitian.
More than 12 hours.
More than 12 hours. That means you eat something in the morning and then directly you have to eat at night. Maybe something like that, right?
Not even. You have to skip your
Achha, you have to skip. Not even that.
Eat dinner and skip your breakfast and lunch at night.
And then directly only dinner. Shamala ji, I hope you are not practicing this.
No.
Okay. So this is something which because you shared, I asked. So that means you have your dinner and then you skip your breakfast, lunch. Now this, for a few people like me or so, or maybe who does not practice, for us it will be out of the this is something which is impossible. Something like that does not exist at all. But for a person who does this, it is like, for them it is very, very casual. From where I got this context, I'll tell you. In the workplace that, the current workplace where I go, the head, whoever controls over our head who is there, He is the one who comes, he's an old man, about 59 or 60, about to retire. So when he comes to meet all our employees, he comes and he tells, oh no, I'm doing this intermittent fasting, I eat only once in a day or something like that. And then we all, and whenever we go for lunches now, some people, they have a habit of getting 2 or 3 lunch boxes, this and that. And you go to a workplace also, you go morning 9, you return at 6, you have to go and have your breakfast, and you have your lunch, 3 p.m. you have your coffee, then you have a canteen also, again you have your snacks. So we end up eating 4 or 5 times. And this person, he comes, he says, no, I don't eat anything, some fruits or something I have, that's it. Or in the afternoon also, sometimes if he feels very hungry, he eats an apple or something, and that's it, he goes. And then all of us, the employees who are there, we sit and wonder, how come this person is doing this? Doesn't he feel hungry? All of us, even after eating also, we feel hungry, right? Many of us, it is like that. You eat something, again after half an hour or so, again, oh, still I'm feeling hungry, let me see what is there. So this doesn't mean, what I'm trying to say is, things that we don't know, or things that we don't experience, we feel that something like this does not exist at all. Same is applicable for all our scriptures also, whatever has been mentioned. Just because you are not used to something, or you have not heard about something, does not mean that such a thing doesn't exist, or such a thing cannot be accepted. People in the Satya Yuga, their way of life was also different. For them, today we can easily chant the names of the Lord and attain moksha. This is the dharma for Kali Yuga. In Satya Yuga, it was only and only through tapasya. Therefore, that was very, very casual for them. Or in the Treta Yuga, Rama, he had to do sacrifices. Today we cannot imagine doing sacrifices, right? You give thousands of cows, lakhs of cows, crores of gold, Brahmins you call them. Today you call only 2 people to your house, that is also a big thing. But does that mean that then sacrifices did not exist, or doing sacrifices is wrong? No, today I don't do such things, therefore such a thing will not exist, or such a thing is all false. We cannot jump to conclusions at all. The point I'm trying to say is, today when we don't do some things, or today we don't find a few things being done, that doesn't mean that such things have not existed. Therefore, be it even religion or scripture, especially in the case of scriptures, when you see, they are very sensational topics. People will pick out such points. What you are saying, all this tapasya, food, water and all, the person will die. Person will not die. Or the people like Nammalvar also, they have done so much of tapasya, they have not died. Reason being, they were used to that. Their lifestyle was used to that. Or even in the case of Prahlada, with the case of Prahlada also, this controversy is there so much. I've heard so many people telling, Prahlada is such a great devotee, he says that Narsimha is there in this pillar and the Lord came out. What nonsense this is. I'll also try and see, in this chair the Lord is there, tell the Lord to come, he doesn't come, right? How can then this Prahlada 5-year-old boy tell this? Tell so on, how come the Lord came there? That means there is some, you can say some magic that is there, Prahlada had a connection or a setting somewhere. This is what is the conclusion that people will make. For this, only answer you can give is, are you a bhakta like Prahlada? If you are not a bhakta like Prahlada, Narsimha will not come. You also become a bhakta like Prahlada, devotee like Prahlada, surely Narsimha will come, right? So we don't look at ourselves, we just wait to make some conclusions all around. So the same thing here also. Nammalvar, he survived. So again, coming back to the story. So Nammalvar, he survived by just chanting the names of the Lord. And if you see, his birth, so therefore, now Janma, Janani, this Ja letter is always associated with birth, motherhood and all together, all around. So this person, he's like a Praja. Praja is someone who has won over birth. It is not a normal birth. Now, nobody can do so much of tapasya, just sit under a tree, meditate, get a lot of knowledge, chant the 4 Vedas into Tamil also, compose so many compositions, 4 prabandhams and so on. And also, he was one who was not caught by the Shatamavayu, he did not cry, quirk, he did not do when he was born, so surely not normal child, a bit abnormal. I mean, rather than abnormal, we can say extraordinary. So therefore, Praja, one who has won over birth or one who has won over Janma, that is Praja. And the leader of all these prajas, that is, Nammalvar is just one reference here because the story revolves around him. Can be anyone, Adi Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, or even all the great people, Prahlada, Dhruva, and so on. Today also in the list of devotees of Lord Vishnu, we have the reference of Prahlada, Dhruva. In the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmyam, that is there, as mentioned in the Padma Purana also, we have the reference to this Dhruva, Prahlada, Dhruvashchaiva, and so on. Or even in the case of Hanuman. Like this, so many people are there. So, Prajanam Patihi, Prajapatihi. So, one who is a leader or one who rules over or one who you can say is a god of all these prajas, great people. He is Prajapatihi. So another name for the Lord is Prajapatihi. So Prajapataye Namaha is a nama here. Prajapataye Namaha, leader of good people. So good children or good progeny. That is, they like Namalvar in this context. They are also born. So that is the nama and the Phalashruti of this name, Prajapati. Okay. Did everyone understand this nama? Yes?
Yes, Rashmi.
Okay. Next. Next is Hiranyagarbha. हिरण्यमयाडांटर वर्तित्वात् हिरण्यगर्भो ब्रह्मा विरिञ्चिः तदात्मा. Now, being present inside the golden egg, that is Hiranyamaya Garbha, he is Brahma, the Lord has been seen in that form. Now, Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyam meaning gold, Garbha meaning womb. Now, all of us also, we are all Garbhis because we are also born out of the mother's womb. Garbha is nothing but a shell wherein all of us are kept inside, like a protective shell, or you can say a covering, which all of us are there inside. We also come out of that only. So Garbha, that literally means a womb, or you can say a covering, a protective shell. Hiranyagarbha, a covering made of gold. What is that? Let us look at that later. For this, again you have a story from the Mahabharata context. Now Arjuna once he set out to do tapasya, and that's where he got the Pashupatastra. He did a lot of tapasya to Rudra, Lord Shiva, and that's how he got the Pashupatastra. And this was that time where all the Pandavas along with Kunti, they were living in a forest in a Brahmin's house nearby. And that's where Lord Kubera, he had a garden, he had a big house. You can say like today how we consider a farmhouse or something like that. Like that, Kubera, he had a house, lot of flower gardens, flower pots, a very beautiful surrounding, and a lot of people to take care and so on. So a lot of caretakers. So this Bhima along with Draupadi and all the other Pandavas except Arjuna, they were all living happily here, and nearby Kubera also he had his beautiful garden here. So at that time once it so happened that there were a lot of snakes near the garden, and we know Garuda is enemy of snakes, so Garuda comes and he attacks those snakes. All the snakes were killed, and this happened near the garden of Kubera. Kubera's garden had a lot of flowers, so the blood droplets of all those snakes, they had all, maybe you can say, was all sprinkled over the flowers, and these flowers in air, they flew in air and they came and fell near the house of the Pandavas, where the Pandavas were living. So Draupadi, she comes and she sees all these flowers. She was very happy to see those flowers, but she saw blood stains on all those flowers. So now we cannot offer all these blood stained flowers to the Lord, or you cannot use it for any other purpose, right? So she told Bhima that you please, I want these flowers anyhow. You go and find out. All these flowers, they are all blood stained flowers, but I want fresh flowers. So you go and find out where these flowers are, and you get fresh, nice flowers for me. Bhima agreed. He went. He found this Kubera's garden also nearby. He found the same flowers, and he goes inside the garden in order to pluck these flowers and get them back for Draupadi. At that time, there was a caretaker of the garden called Maniman. He obstructed Bhima. He told, no, you cannot pluck flowers and take. Especially you go to any garden, you cannot pluck flowers. Right? So he was a caretaker. He told Bhima that no, you cannot do this. So Bhima, we know, he likes to show his physical strength wherever he goes. He gives Maniman a blow. He fell down on the ground. But now Kubera's army was not alone. So Kubera's entire army came now. Maniman was not the only one who was there. Entire army came to fight with Bhima. All of them were blowed and killed about here and there. Many of them got injured. Kubera himself now came saying that now what happened so my own caretaker Maniman is killed, all the different soldiers are killed, what happened? He himself comes down. He sees Bhima, and this noise now of the fight reaches even the house of the Pandavas. So Yudhishthira also hears this noise. Yudhishthira also keeps running saying that what happened. He saw Bhima fighting, and somewhat he stopped Bhima saying that now enough, you got your flowers, now come back home. Somehow he brings Bhima back home. Bhima gives the flowers to Draupadi. But now Yudhishthira and Kubera also, he also said now, what for flowers, why are you fighting? If someone needs flowers, let them take and go. You need not make a fight with them or tell them something. Let them take the flowers and go. For that reason you stop them and see what has happened now. saying so, no, Kubera left it, he took it very lightly and he left it there, he went back. But now Yudhishthira, he felt very bad. He says that for the sake of flowers, my brother Bhima ended up killing and injuring so many people, right? So this is very wrong. And he told Bhima that wherever it is not needed, you must not show your physical strength. Of course, I know that you are very strong and so on, but for the sake of flowers, you need not do that. The person who was there, he was also just doing his work. His work was to take care of the garden, Maniman. You went there, you showed your strength, you killed the person. So now, because of you or because of the sake of a few flowers, you have killed so many people. So now Yudhishthira feels bad and he keeps on saying the same thing. And at that time, the Pandavas' guru, Dhaumya, his name was Dhaumya, that sage, he comes there. And he asks Yudhishthira, what is your problem, why are you so sad and so on. And that time Yudhishthira, he narrates all the story, whatever has taken place. Dhaumya tells Yudhishthira that, don't worry, don't feel bad, everything happens for a reason. Yudhishthira could not understand this. He says that what happened for a reason? My brother only has done wrong. Flowers, Draupadi asked, he could have gone plucked. If the person stopped, maybe he could have told him in a good way, or maximum, he could have maybe come out saying that no, they are not allowing. Draupadi would have also agreed. But then this person, he went and he ended up killing so many people. So this is wrong. What is right in this? Or how can you say that everything happens for a reason? You please explain. So Dhaumya at that time says that this Maniman was earlier cursed by sage Agastya. He had misbehaved with Agastya, and at that time sage Agastya had cursed him that Bhima will come and kill you. Bhima of the Pandavas' fame will come and kill you. So because of that, because of this past action, today things have paved this way and Bhima has finally killed this Maniman. Now Yudhishthira asks, what had Maniman done to Agastya? Why did sage Agastya curse him? So he had said that he had misbehaved with a few sages, and misbehaving with sages will surely lead to dire consequences. That too when Agastya had cursed him, so surely the curse cannot go false. So therefore Bhima had to kill. So whatever things happen in life, everything happens for a reason only. So you need not feel bad about it at all. So this is what he says so. So this is the Leela of Narayana alone, or you can say this is all the story that has been put in. All this has been structured and made by Narayana alone, who is a Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha. And what is Hiranyagarbha? Again Yudhishthira does not understand. So Dhaumya, he takes Yudhishthira out. He says, please come out of your cottage. I want to show you something. He points his hand towards the sky and says that there is Indraloka, there is where Indra and all the other gods live. There is Brahmaloka, that is where Brahma lives, Satyaloka. And above that, you have Vaikuntha. And Vaikuntha is Hiranyagarbha, meaning full of gold. That is the reason, even if you see in pictures today, you will have the Vaikuntha Dwaram, the doors of Vaikuntha, always golden or always gold, right? Because it is said that Vaikuntha is gold. So, one who lives inside the Garbha. Now Vaikuntha is like a Garbha, a protective shell. The person who lives inside that is Lord Vishnu, Hiranyagarbha. So another name for Lord Vishnu is Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha. Or the Lord of Vaikuntha, that is Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha. This is the Nama that we chant. Palashruti is the phalam or the rewards of donating gold that can be achieved by chanting this Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha. Today most of us, we do not do any kind of donation in gold. Buying gold for ourselves also has become a challenge. So forget about donating. So therefore the phalan that we get, the rewards that we get of donating gold, that is a phalashruti of chanting this Nama. Now out of this Nama, there is also a life lesson that we get, is that everything happens for a reason. Today, a few things do not make sense to us, and that's where we sit and complain. That's when we feel that no, there is nothing positive in my life, or why only all problems are coming into my life. There is surely a reason for that. It's not that we must know all the reasons. Now, all this, for those who are maybe in that particular problematic situation, we don't, all such thoughts will not come, right? Practically speaking, if say for example, I have some problem in life, maybe I feel very sad or anything it can be. At that time, I will not try to convince and console myself saying that no, everything happens for a reason. Before maybe something would have happened, so today also something is happening. It might be for my good and so on. At that time of sorrow, we cannot think all this. So at that time of sorrow, surely we are going to feel bad, we feel negative and so on, sorrowful. But how quickly we come out of something, that is very, very important. You see a few people, whenever some problem or some grieving situation comes in, they will plunge themselves into that. They will never try to come out of it. They'll maybe keep talking about the same thing, especially old people also. If you see, always they will, I'm not only old people, but in general, they will keep talking about the same thing again and again. Things are done. Maybe 2-3 years back something would have happened. Till date, they'll be talking about that. So how quickly we come out of that? Problems and sorrowful situations are going to come. Today if it is there, and tomorrow if I'm going to be happy, the third day some other problem is going to come. Right? That is what is life. So therefore, how fast we come out of things, that is very, very important. So here through this story, this one more life lesson has been told is that everything happens for a reason. It's not needed that you must know the reason today itself. That's the reason why Krishna told in the Gita too, Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You need not think about the results today. Later you will get the results. Today you just focus on doing the good actions. Always what I will get out of everything. We must never have this motive. But now here, the second doubt is that, can we do some things without expecting something in return? Even a small thing also, if you see, we will always do only when we want something in return. Like for example, now even the same, let us take the example of our own session. Here, all of you have an expectation, right? You have some phalam that you are expecting. No, after listening every Saturday 9 to 10 1 hour, I must know the meanings of Vishnu Sahasranama. If you are not getting that, obviously all of you are going to be disappointed. Maybe you will not come from next class, or maybe you will tell me something saying that no, I was expecting, but now I am getting something else, right? Similarly, from my side also, I will have some expectation. Okay, now 25 people are coming, all of them should be attentively listening. If I ask them tomorrow anything, they should all be knowing that, but they should come out of interest. So even I also have an expectation, right? I cannot say that no, whatever it is, whoever is coming or not coming, 9 to 10 every day I will log in and speak. It's not like that, right? I wait for all of you to join. Similarly, all of you also, you wait for me to join. It is not that, okay, you'll just listen somewhere, something she will share, I'll look into that, something 1 hour, they'll speak and go, which is irrelevant, you'll just listen to that. 1 hour I have to just while away time. It is not like that. Even in the smallest of things, we have an expectation that is there. So then how does Krishna say that, Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, karma kuru yada shaknoshi, phalam na apekshasu. Like this, there are big lines that have been told in commentary. That is, as far as possible, do good deeds, do not expect anything in return. You go to a workplace, you do some work. The person tells towards the end of the month, he'll say that no, this month's salary I won't pay you, next month I'll pay you together. Or maybe this month little delay it will take place, first 10 days delay. Will anyone accept that? We'll go and fight, right? You immediately go write a big mail, this, that and everything, we'll go and fight. That is because nobody does anything for free. I'm doing your work because I expect the salary at the end of the month. Or it can be anything, even simple things. Maybe you go to a hotel and have some food. I just want to try out how it is. But still, we have some expectation that it should fulfill my stomach. I should like the food, right? Because I'm paying for it. I'm not doing it free. So therefore, in each and every stage, we have some or the other expectation. But what Krishna tries to say is that practically or humanly, this is reality. You do out of this only out of, because you have some expectation. But in each and everything that we do, before doing things, if we keep on questioning, saying that what I'm going to get out of this, what I'll do out of this, you at least try, you start with something. Many of the people, whenever we learn something new also, we don't know when what comes useful in life, right? Maybe now, in my school days I learned Sanskrit, now today, and then I just left about. Today, maybe 20-30 years down the line, I'm chanting shlokas and all, it is becoming useful. I'm just giving you an example. So you don't know when what becomes useful in life. So therefore, everything happens for a reason. So everyone, you'll have your own personal experiences. Maybe 10 or 15 years down the lane, you didn't know why a few things happened. But today you can relate to that and feel that, oh, good that thing happened, today I'm finding it useful. But good that I gave up that thing at that time, today I'm in a good place. Maybe a few of us, we have some addictions and so on also, right? So all this tries to show, this Nama, what it tries to show is, one is the realm of Lord Vishnu, that is Vaikuntha, made of full gold, that is where the Lord dwells in. So therefore another name for the Lord is Hiranyagarbha, that is one who lives in the gold abode, that is Vaikuntha. That is one thing. Second significance is to try to show that everything happens for a reason, and we must try to understand that. Just as Yudhishthira feels bad because Maniman had gone and destroyed the garden, but then later when Sage Dhaumya comes and explains that everything has happened for a reason, this is Narayana Leela, Lord Vishnu had only paved a way, saying that Bhima has to kill Maniman for his evil deeds. So that is where things start falling in place. Okay, did everyone understand this Nama? Hiranyagarbha?
Yes,
Yes.
You said what curse? Was it Agastya?
Sorry?
You said that there was a curse. Was it from Agastya?
Agastya he had given a curse because this Maniman had earlier misbehaved with the sages. So therefore he got a curse.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Next.
Hello?
Yes.
This first line, last Hiranmaya.
Uh,
Hiranmaya Lantar Patitva. How to read?
Hiranyamayand Vartitvat.
Thank you.
Next, Hiranyagarbha. Next is Bhugarbha. Bhuhu Garbe Yasya Saha Bhugarbha. One who has the Bhu, that is earth herself in one's womb, that is Bhugarbha. Now here we have the significance to Bhuma Devi, that is goddess earth. So again now we have to go to South India now. Among the kings, the Pandyas, Cholas who are there, the Pandyans, out of that there was a king, Rajashekara Pandya, a very famous king of the Pandyan dynasty. So this Rajashekara Pandya or the Rajashekaras alone, they were great devotees of Lord Shiva. You get this reference in the stories of Lord Ayyappa or Lord Shasta, the son of Vishnu and Shiva. So that's because his father, if you see, he was this Rajashekara, Raja Pandyan and so on. They belong to this Pandyan dynasty. And there if you see the stories of Ayyappa, you can notice that his father was a great Shiva devotee and his mother was a great Vishnu devotee. So that again shows the mingling of Shaivism, Vaishnavism. That again gives this reference of the Pandyan dynasty. They were great devotees of Lord Shiva. You can say they were Shaivites. So this particular king, this Rajashekara Pandyan, he had... Now there was not only one Rajashekara Pandyan, there have been many. It is a dynasty, 1, 2, how you have numbers is similar to that. So this person, he had, out of the 64 kalas, different arts that we had seen in the last session also, he had like this, he had mastered all the 63 arts. Only one art was remaining. What was that? Is the art of dancing. That is the Bharatanatyam. He could not do that. So means he felt very difficult. This king, he felt that dancing or learning Bharatanatyam is very difficult. I just wonder that how my Lord Shiva in the form of Nataraja, how he stands in this position. If you see Nataraja, you can see left leg lifted over the right leg and kept. So in that pose, doesn't his leg pain? He's standing all this while like this. So I just don't know how come my Lord stands like this. So I really want to maybe go and ask the Lord himself what it is. And I pray that always keep now all of us also, if you at night when we sleep, we don't sleep only in one side, right? Like maybe you sleep at night 11 o'clock, you get up in the morning 6. Maybe at 11 in whatever posture you slept, by morning 6 we are not in the same posture. We keep changing our postures, right? Or even when you sit also on the ground, say you fold your legs and sit. Many of us, we have a habit of continuously changing our legs, right? We keep our right leg ahead, then left leg inside and so on. We keep changing. It's because we cannot sit. Then if you sit for a long time, we get ants, right? And that's where we have to maybe wait for some time. You have to hold things. Even for young people, young, old, everyone I'm saying. Why all these things happens is that on one part of the body we cannot stay long, right? For a long time we cannot focus or we cannot pressurize one part of our body. It starts paining. So the same thing, this Rajashekara Pandyan, he thinks about Lord Shiva also. He feels that how come this Lord Shiva is in the same posture, doesn't his leg pain, doesn't he experience anything? So he prays. Where he goes is that he prayed to Lord Nataraja, and there he prayed to Lord Nataraja saying that at least for some time I want you to change your leg. You dance, but you are keeping your left leg over the right leg. For my sake, you keep the right leg over your left leg. Even today you can see this temple. If you go to South India, there you can see this temple there. I think what near Kumbakonam, somewhere like that, you have this temple where it's sorry? Chidambaram Nataraja, that is fine. But what I'm saying is, that is there, Chidambaram Nataraja. The right leg over the left leg. I don't know, I don't think in Chidambaram it is like that. Left leg over the right leg is a normal Nataraja that we can see. But the right leg over the left leg, only for the sake of Rajashekara Pandyan, Lord Nataraja himself has changed his posture of the legs. And then that is where this Rajashekara Pandyan becomes very happy, saying that now at least I am happy that my Lord's legs will not pain, because He's standing in the same posture for long. He has changed at least his movement of the legs, position of the legs. So now it will not be. With this he goes away. Now similarly, on the base of the same story, we have in the context of another story of another king. He was called the Harikeshi Pandyan, another Pandyan king, Harikeshi Pandyan. But this king was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. And he goes to a place again near Mahabalipuram. There is a temple wherein you have this Tiruyadai Yandai, Tiruvadai, I think it is Tiruvadai. Tiruvadai Yandai, Tiruvadai, Vadai, and we can say Malay, right? Vadai Malay, Vadai Malay, that is left and right, how we say in Tamil. So it is similar to that. So in this temple, you have Lord Varaha, Vishnu in the form of Varaha Avatara. He holds Bhuma Devi, that is goddess Earth, on his left shoulder. He carries on his left shoulder. So at that time, this Harikeshi Pandyan, he also goes to this temple, and he too feels bad. And this is among the 108 Divya Deshams, this temple. And he feels bad. He says that you are holding the goddess on your left shoulder all this while. Doesn't your shoulder ache? I want you to change the posture. You shift it to your right shoulder. So considering their devotion, the Lord, it is said, he has shifted. You find this one temple wherein the Lord goddess is sitting on the right shoulder of Lord Varaha. That is Tiruvadai Yandai. First origin, and if you see, it was Tiruvadai, Tiruyadai, I think it is. I am not very sure with that, because 2 or 3 references when I saw, one place it was Tiruyadai Vandai, some place it was Tiruvadai Yandai. I don't know which exactly it is. And whereas the right side is Tiruvadai. Vadai is on the right side. Tiruvadai Yandai, this place is in near Mahabalipuram. And that is where Lord Varaha himself comes and tells us Harikeshi Pandyan is that you don't have to travel all the way from the place that you live in, again from Mahabalipuram till near Kumbakonam or so. That is, this temple was on the outskirts of Mahabalipuram. Therefore, you don't have to travel all this while. I will only come and live in a place in Mahabalipuram, so you can construct a temple for me and so on. So that's where again this Harikeshi Pandyan, he feels very happy that the Lord, for his sake, he has changed his shoulder from the left shoulder. Now he is holding the goddess on the right shoulder.
There is one place near Kumbakonam,
Tiruyilaipuram, so maybe it can be that temple.
Yeah.
Correct. So now what is the significance of this story is that whenever Harikeshi Pandyan, he goes and tells the Lord that you are holding this Bhuma Devi on your left shoulder and right shoulder, your left shoulder will pain. At that time the Lord tells this Harikeshi Pandyan is that I am holding Bhuma Devi on my left shoulder. That itself is causing so much of trouble to you. But do you know this Bhuma Devi, what she does? She has been holding this earth and living creatures for years and years and years together. She has never complained, nor has she left her hand. Today if she leaves her hand, that's where we face earthquake and all that, right? Even for a few seconds earthquake comes in, there is mass destruction. We know that. Bhuma Devi has never complained. We do so many wrongdoings. We stamp our feet every day. Even now when you are sitting, you are standing, whatever you do, you are standing on the land, you are standing on Bhuma Devi. That is, you are stamping someone or kicking someone, or even by mistake also, if our leg falls on someone, immediately we ask for sorry, right? We ask for forgiveness. In the case of Bhuma Devi, we don't do that. Every day we are stamping, we are jumping, what not we do. But still the goddess is suffering on that. More than suffering, this goddess is bearing all that. Goddess is being tolerant. So considering that, Varaha says that you don't know. For Bhugarbha, you don't know, you just feel that I am holding the goddess on my left shoulder. That itself you feel that is heavy for me. You are telling me to change my shoulder, you have built a temple or that. But you must know the contribution of this Bhuma Devi. That is the reason why we chant the shloka. Samudravasane Devi Parvatastalip Mandale Vishnupatnena Vastubhyam Padasparsham Kshamaswame. Every day in the morning when we get up from the bed, before we keep our leg on the ground, we must chant the shloka and get up. Padasparsham Kshamaswame. I'm going to place my feet on you, please forgive me. There is no option now. We have to place our feet on her and only walk and do all our activities. But at least we can ask for forgiveness. We know the importance of Bhuma Devi and her contributions. Till date, never ever the Bhuma Devi has said that no, I am letting go of my hand. Let anything happen, let it be only pralaya everywhere. Let the whole world twist and toss here and there. Let me give up my balance. She never does that. This is again compared to all mothers and motherhood there, wherein for 9 months, or in the case of all other creatures also, whatever is their time, All mothers, be it human mothers or any animal mothers, bird mothers, creatures, they will never say. It is like a bharam which the mother, now let us consider a human example so that we can understand better. The mother, when she carries a child inside her womb, is very, very difficult. Most of you are mothers, you know the experience that is there for 9 months. But still the mother will never ever say, what is this bharam? What is this weight that is there inside my mother's womb, inside my womb? I cannot carry it anymore. You have so many problems, this and that you face it. But then we never say that this is the bharam. But let me change the position from my stomach, let me keep it to some other part of the body for some time and then I'll bring it back. That cannot happen. So Lord Vishnu in the form of Varaha, he explains to the Sarikeshi Pandyan is that all mothers out there and even Bhuma Devi out there, though they feel pressurized or though they feel pain that they have been sustaining in the same body part, still they don't have an option to change their position. But today, for your sake only, because you feel you care for the Lord saying that my hand will pain, I am changing my position from the left shoulder to the right shoulder. So this nama again, you see through every namas, apart from the story, we get to learn something and we get to know something is that the importance of mothers and motherhood is therefore respecting women. Now again, not for feminism or nothing like that, but then respecting someone 9 months to carry a child is not an easy task at all. Therefore that importance is also considered Bhugarbha, one who carries the entire earth in his womb. That is Bhugarbha, nothing but the Lord himself. Bhugarbhaya Namaha. This is the nama that is being chanted. Even all our bharas also. All our bharas is all our problems that are there. That will also be removed or that can also be destroyed by the Lord who is carrying the entire earth in himself. That is Bhugarbhaya Namaha. Okay. So did everyone understand this nama? Yes?
Oh, yes, Rashmi.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Next nama. Hiranyagarbho Bhugarbho Madavaha. Madavaha, very, very auspicious and very, very important nama. Maya Shriyaha Dhavapatihi Madavaha. Consort of Dhava. Dhava is another name. Dhava means wife. Another name for Goddess Mahalakshmi is Ma. Madhu Vidya Vabodhyatvad Va. One who is realized by Madhu Vidya. Madhu Vidya is a form of Vidya. That is knowledge. It is Madavaha. You have some more definitions. Mauna Dhyanacha Yogacha Vidya Bharata Madhavam. The Vyasa Vachanadva Madhava. Vyasa, he says that a bit philosophical meaning, through silence, meditation and yoga, one who can be realized, that is Madhava. Here we will consider Madhava, the goddess of Lord, Goddess Mahalakshmi's Lord, that is Madhava. Now for this again there is a story again from the Krishna Leela stories or the Madhava reference, from the Mahabharata reference. Now here we must consider Rukmini Devi. Rukmini Devi, again an incarnation of Goddess Mahalakshmi, one of the consorts of Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana. So once it so happened, now Rukmini, when she was born, she had 5 brothers. Rukmi, Rukmatha, Rukmaratna, Rukmabahu, Rukmakesha and Rukmamali. These are the 5 brothers of Rukmini. Most popular is Rukmi. Most of you would have heard his name, but she had 4 more brothers. Rukmaratha, Rukmabahu, Rukmakesha, Rukmamali and Rukmi. These were the 5 brothers of Rukmini Devi. Now Rukmi, from the time he was born, he always had an enmity towards Krishna. He never wanted Krishna, and whereas Rukmini, she always wanted to marry Lord Krishna. So now what this Rukmini does is that he approaches an astrologer, and with the help of Jarasandha, now Jarasandha also enemy of Lord Krishna, with the help of Jarasandha he consults an astrologer, and the astrologer tells that, and he asks the astrologer that, who will marry my sister Rukmini? You tell me something about that, I want to know her future. The astrologer tells us 3 conditions. With the help of Jarasandha, 3 conditions he says that. 1, who is born with 4 hands. 2nd, whose name ends with Pala, P-A-L-A. And the 3rd is, who will have Ma and Dha in his name. Somewhere the name, that is this. Now all these 3 conditions were very much fit for Shishupala. That's how we know that Rukmini's marriage was initially fixed with Shishupala. Shishupala was born with 4 hands, and that's where Shishupala is Krishna's aunt's son. And then the minute it was said that when he was born, on whosoever lap this child falls in, the 4 hands, that is the extra 2 hands will disappear and the child will become normal, and on whosoever lap he sits and the 2 hands disappear, that will be the killer of Shishupala. Krishna goes and visits his cousin Shishupala, being very happy that my aunt's son is born and so on. And at that time, the minute the child Shishupala, the baby Shishupala was kept on Krishna's lap, extra 2 hands disappeared, and that's how Shishupala knew that on his womb I had lied down, my 2 hands disappeared, he is going to be my killer in future. That's how he developed enmity towards Krishna. So this was the first condition, he was born with 4 hands. Shishupala, Pala, the second condition, Pala should be in one's name, Pala. Then another name for Shishupala was Magadhan, Magadha. Now some say that Jarasandha was a king of Magadha Desha. Shishupala also had an eye over there. So therefore, he also later used to be, could be the king of Magadha Desha. So that's why another name. These are some different references that have been told. That's why he had a name Magadha. Another name for Shishupala was Magadha. Ma and Dha are there in the names. Third condition is also fulfilled. Rukmi interprets this in this way. He and Jarasandha are very happy, saying that okay, my sister Rukmini is going to marry this person Shishupala. He returns back home and he starts making arrangements for Rukmini's marriage with Shishupala. Now at that time we know that we have Rukmini Haranam, Krishna comes in, he takes away Rukmini and goes on. So now someone comes and questions Krishna, saying that no, the astrologer had told 3 conditions. These 3 conditions were fulfilled by Shishupala. Then how come Rukmini, she got married with you? Is Jyotisha Shastram false? Or did what the astrologer say was false, or what it is? Krishna says that even I also fulfill all the 3 conditions. Not only Shishupala. The person who question asks how? Please explain. Krishna says that I was also born with 4 hands. Tamadbudam balakam ambujekshanam chaturbhujam. One having 4 hands. When I was born in the prison, Devaki and Vasudeva, when Devaki kept me on my lap, I was also born that way, having 4 hands. Second is Pala. Another name for me is Gopala. Gopala. I also have Pala in my name. Third is Madha. I have another name, Madhava. That's how I also fulfill the third condition. Therefore, I can be married to Rukmini. Significance of Ma. Ma is goddess Mahalakshmi, who is Rukmini herself. Dha is husband, or one who will marry this lady, Madhava. This me myself, Lord Narayana, was incarnated in the form of Krishna, and she is goddess Mahalakshmi, incarnated in the form of Rukmini. Therefore today both of us have been married. So therefore this another name for the Lord is Madhava. Very 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 auspicious nama. When a Madhavaya Namaha, when we chant this nama, it's going to lead to just auspiciousness everywhere, and also for those who want to seek marriage to happen in their families, for their sons, daughters, grandchildren and so on, also this nama is chanted. And in general for a happy married life, just as Krishna and Rukmini, just as Vishnu Narayana, just as Lakshmi Narayana, it has to take place. Now Ma, how come the goddess, she got this name? For this again you have a significance. During the Samudra Mantana, during the churning of the ocean, when goddess Mahalakshmi comes in, at that time also Lord Vishnu only comes and marries her. Lakshmi Narayana Swayamvaraha. You have this in the Srimad Bhagavatam, you have in the Srimad Narayanam and so on also. A very very important, also in the Vishnu Purana, very very important chapter, very important significance of goddess Lord Vishnu and Mahalakshmi getting married. So this is what this Ma is another name for Lord Vishnu, and how Madhava, this name came is through this story. There are different stories that have been told for Madhava, how it came for Lord Vishnu. This is one story that is significant in the context of Vishnu Sahasranama. Okay. Did everyone understand this nama? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Madhava? Okay. So we will... Yes?
Shishupala had also 3 eyes, no, madam.
Shishupala?
And 3 eyes, no.
3 eyes, yes. So that's how 3 eyes and 2 hands. Here the condition was for only 4 hands. 4 hands will disappear, 2 extra. Yeah. Okay, so we will stop here today. Time is almost up. We'll meet again in the next session.